Hi, Kevin. How are you?
I'm fine, Sarah, thank you.
Good, good, good. Okay, here we go again with another little video for No Panic. And today we're talking about tiredness and anxiety. So it's a common question that we actually get at the charity quite a bit. People, why do I feel tired all the time? And is it the anxiety that's causing the fatigue?
Right. I'm really pleased we're doing this video because, in my clinical life, the number of times I've been asked that question, I feel tired all the time. Is it part of my anxiety? Now, I think you should also know that GPs get asked that question a lot, or they present to GPs with tiredness, fatigue, and the latest estimate is something between 5 and 10% of GP consultations start with, I feel tired all the time, doctor. So
Wow.
it's a very, very, very common complaint.
Mm,
But having said that, it's one that we've got to take really seriously.
mm.
The difference between tiredness and fatigue is simple. Everybody gets tired. Now, normally, if you're tired, very tired, you go to bed, you have a good night's sleep, you get up the next day, and you're not feeling tired. Now, fatigue is when that feeling of tiredness is day after day after day, and it's not relieved by a good night's sleep. And usually people say, I just lack energy as well. So there is a difference, but I suppose in one way it's a continuum. There's no precise cutoff. So can anxiety cause that? Yes, it can. It can, and it does. But before I just address that, it's really important to say that if you are feeling tired, there may be medical reasons why you're feeling tired. And it's important that you do, if you're feeling tired day after day after day, and you really lack energy, it's really important that you get the common things checked out by your GP. So anemia is a common symptom, and anemia is a common cause of tiredness. One of the things that crops up now, of course, is that people have been away from sunlight, so they become vitamin D deficient. And it's probably something that's not picked up often enough. But one of the symptoms of vitamin D deficiency is feeling tired all the time. So it's important you take those to your GP. If you've got other significant symptoms, such as unexplained weight loss or feeling very, very short of breath, and I'm not talking about panic short of breath, because I know that that's a problem too. But if you're getting any other significant symptoms, you should go to your GP. But please check out that you may have some underlying medical cause that can be quite easily rectified. So that's the first thing to say. Now, yes, anxiety causes fatigue. I'll just mention before we go on to your questions about what can you do about it, that really there are two parts of this. First of all, anxiety causes fatigue because when you're anxious, you're putting a terrific strain on the adrenal glands, and we're producing huge amounts of adrenaline. And very simply, your body becomes depleted of energy. So that feeling of tiredness results from high levels of anxiety. But the second category, if you like, is the things that anxiety causes. Now, anxiety often causes, for example, a feeling of depression. So if you're depressed, you're going to be more likely to feel tired. It's a symptom of depression. But also when you're tired, your sleep may be interrupted. So that decent night's sleep that we look forward to when we're tired might not be happening. And that problem can be compounded by people trying to deal with that lack of sleep at night by sleeping during the day. Now, the other things that happen, and we're all aware of these vicious cycles, I've seen it so often, is that people with anxiety quite often don't take enough exercise for all kinds of reasons. They don't take enough exercise, their weight goes up, they feel sluggish, they feel tired. The other problem, sadly, is that some people with anxiety self-medicate. They self-medicate with alcohol, and alcohol will increase tiredness. So you've got primary anxiety, which will cause tiredness, fatigue, on a day in, day out basis, caused by the, the fight or flight reaction and that draining the body. And then you've got that in addition to secondary factors. Now, the other thing that's worth mentioning is many no panic members may be on medications which might make them feel tired. Again, that's something, go back to your doctor. If you think the medication is making you feel excessively tired, modern medications, some medications will make you feel tired, but some won't. So go back to your doctor and discuss it. Don't just give up. And I'm really sure that health professionals take these symptoms, really seriously. So, don't be afraid of asking. Don't be afraid of asking the health professional, for explanations. It's better to do that than to have something that you keep to yourself, because that will just make things worse.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, so taking all that into consideration, what can, these people that are anxious all the time, etc., they're feeling absolutely exhausted because of the anxiety, what can they do? What can one do about it?
Well, I suppose the first thing to say is that effective treatments for your anxiety will reduce your tiredness. So if you're receiving any kind of panic management from a health professional, that's going to reduce your anxiety because it reduces the panic. But actually, getting in touch with No Panic and getting some common sense advice and sharing your problem that will make you feel less anxious as it stands, because very often anxiety is one of those things that you keep to yourself. You're ashamed of it, but please don't be ashamed. If you think that there is nobody that can help you, please be aware. No Panic is there, and all the other organizations are there to help you deal with your anxiety with self-help, and self-help is powerful. I suppose if you were to look at a treatment program such as I devised for a patient who's feeling tired all the time, is first of all to look at the behavioral routine of the day. Now, I would suggest that you have a structured routine. You try and get up the same time every day. You try and not sleep excessively during the day. By all means, I'm a great believer in siesta. Have 40 minutes after lunch, but no more. Don't try and make up for sleep then. So a behavioral routine is important. Look at your activities, because one of the things that happens when you're feeling tired all the time is you'll become preoccupied by it. So it's important to break that preoccupation with distraction. So plenty of meaningful activities. And you might think, oh, I'm too tired to do that. But I think when you do it, you might think, oh, I feel a bit better now. That fatigue seems to have left me somewhat. And I think the old standbys, the ones that we've used for decades now, relaxation, meditation, mindfulness, I think you and I, Sarah, are aware that, what works for one person doesn't work for another. But I think any variation on mindfulness, relaxation, breathing exercises, meditation, whatever suits you, you've got to find the package. And I'm sure that at No Panic, there's plenty of help available to help you find the package that suits you best. So I'd say the answer is fairly straightforward. Treat the anxiety, but also self-help, a behavioral routine. And I think in addition to the things that I've mentioned, I think there is a real need to have graduated exercise. In the UK, our exercise levels are pitifully poor compared with the rest of Europe. Hence the weight problems that we see. I think the UK, apart from Malta, is the most obese nation in Europe, and that's linked to exercise or lack of it. So I think exercise is great. It will make you feel better, but it'll also have an effect on your central nervous system and stop, or to some extent suppress, that fight or flight reaction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great advice. And maybe diet as well. Diet we could include in
Yes, there's no doubt about that. That was something on my list of preparation that I forgot to mention. But diet, yes, it's important. The important thing about diet and vitamin D is, of course, you find plenty of vitamin D in oily fish and cereal, but there are, of course, problems if you're vegetarian or vegan, but you can get vitamin D from other sources. And I think if you are vegetarian or vegan, you're going to need to seek some advice. There's plenty of good advice on the internet about that. But diet, certainly. You know, when we're anxious, I mean, it happens to all of us. It's a natural thing. People will tell you they eat their anxiety away. Now, that's okay. If you're coming up to a stressful event and you're overeating, people overeat or undereat, but if you overeat, that's normal. But if you're overeating every day and you're piling the pounds on, that's going to have an effect on you. That's going to make you much more fatigued and tired.
Okay, so basically, it's, you know, if you're feeling overtired, if you're feeling fatigued every day, day in, day out, the first thing to do is go and see the doctor. Obviously,
Check it out.
just check it out. And then from there, all these little self-help tips that are all listed over on our website. We've got PDF downloads listing them all, etc. And these will, by reducing your anxiety, keeping to the self-help tips, things should improve quite quickly.
I think it's important just to emphasize that the vast majority of interventions to reduce feeling tired all the time, if there are no medical reasons, can be found in organizations like No Panic. And I know that the resources you have are first class. It's exactly what a psychologist or psychiatrist would recommend if you went to see them. So spare yourself the visit to the health professional, log on to No Panic, and the advice is all there. Thank you.
Thanks again, Kevin, for the great advice. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye.